Today's lesson is called Rip Van Winkle. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff.
My name is Roger. So today we're going to continue summarizing our traditional story from America by Washington Irving. I think it was written sometime in the 1800s. It's an old story that a lot of us read when we were in grade school. And it's about this guy, Rip Van Winkle, who has a nagging wife. He's idle. He's kind of lazy. He hangs out with his friends. And to get away from his nagging wife, he goes for a stroll in the woods. But then, where we found out last time, somebody carrying a keg asked him for help. And then he found these strange-looking men solemnly playing a game of 9 pins. And that's where we left off.
How weird, how strange, how mysterious. Hopefully, we can get to the bottom of things here pretty soon. And further, we did mention how Rip Van Winkle is going to take a nap at some point. When is that going to happen? Well, we'll answer these questions and much, much more right after this. And right after we come back from this break, we'll also start reading from the second part of our story called Rip Van Winkle.
Upon spotting Rip and his guide, the men stopped to have a drink from the keg before resuming their joyless game. Realizing no one was watching him, Rip covertly took a sip of the liquor. One sip led to another until he became drowsy and fell asleep. When he awoke, there was no sign of the men.
大家好，第一部分我们看到一个单字 resume， 这个字是动词，指继续进行，重新开始。举例来说 The baseball game resumed after the rain stopped. 棒球赛在雨停后继续进行。或是 Angela resumed work after she had 3 weeks off. Angela 休假3周后复工了。另外这个字也可以是名词，指履历表，念作 resume。所以我们可以说You need to send the company your resume, and if they think you're qualified for the job, they'll call you for an interview. 你要寄履历表给公司，若他们认为你适合这份工作，他们会打电话给你，请你来面试。接着我们看到形容词 joyless， 指毫无乐趣的，不高兴的。例如 Samantha is not satisfied with her joyless marriage. Samantha 对于她毫无乐趣的婚姻感到不满意。或是I think this is a joyless task. 我认为这项工作毫无乐趣。再来，我们看到单字 covertly， 这个字是副词，表示偷偷摸摸的、秘密的。例如 She covertly took the money out of the drawer without anyone's attention. 她偷偷从抽屉里拿走钱，没让任何人知道。
Okay, so remember where we left off. Rip Van Winkle was helping a guy carrying a keg. He was shouldering his burden, and then they came across these people playing 9 pins, but they were playing it kind of seriously, kind of solemnly, which is strange because usually when people go bowling or if they're playing games, they're having a good time. They're laughing, they're shouting, but these people are playing it without any happiness, without any joy. So upon spotting Rip and his guide, the men stopped to have a drink from the keg before resuming their joyless game. So Rip Van Winkle and his companion arrived at this scene where these men were playing 9 pins, and they saw them. The men saw Rip and this guy. So upon seeing them, when they saw him, when they spotted him, they thought, hey, there's a keg there. It's got something to drink, so let's get a drink, and then we'll go back to playing our game. But we're not going to be really excited about it.
Yeah. Which, again, this is strange. They're solemnly playing this game. They're serious about it. And it turns out that not only are they serious about this game, their game is joyless. Okay, if you watch them playing this game of 9 pins, it would look like they're not having any fun at all, okay? This game apparently is not a fun game. They're taking it really seriously. This is a joyless game that they're playing right now. And like Roger said before, they resume this game. That means you start doing something again. So at some point you start the game, maybe you pause to take a drink from a keg or something like that, and then you start again. You continue what you were doing once again. By the way, the word resume can be used in many different situations, okay? You don't only resume a game or a game of 9 pins. I remember when we were growing up, we used to play VHS tapes. Yeah, you used to put a tape into a VCR and play a movie. And let's say you wanted to stop and get a drink, get a Coca-Cola. You used to pause that tape. You can still do that with DVDs as well. You can pause that tape or the DVD, and when you come back, you can continue playing that movie once again, or you can resume that particular movie, and that's what's going on here. They stop the game, and then they start playing it again. They resume their game. Anyways, realizing no one was watching him, Rip covertly took a sip of the liquor. So apparently there was liquor in this keg. We don't know what kind it was, but chances are this was an alcoholic beverage that was in this keg, and Rip here, he took a drink. Now, this is not smart. He has no idea what is in this keg, and he has no idea who these people are. So I don't know why Rip did this, but he did. And by the way, he did it secretly so that other people could not see him do that. Yes, if you do something covertly, you do things secretly. You do it so other people can't see or notice you.
Yep, and I guess they had some liquor in that keg. Remember, liquor usually refers to hard alcohol, okay, like vodka or whiskey or gin or gaoliang. Those are all kinds of liquor. I would not consider wine or beer liquor. So he took a sip of the liquor, and one sip, just a small little mouthful, that's a sip. When you drink tea, of course, you take small sips because you want to enjoy the taste. So one sip led to another until he became drowsy and fell asleep. So one thing leads to another. You just keep going. It's a series of events that fall or that happen after another, one after another. So he took one sip. Oh, that's tasty. Let me have another. Ooh, that's tasty. Let me have another. One sip led to another. And then, of course, if you drink too much liquor, you're going to get drowsy. Maybe you'll get drunk and you'll pass out. In this particular case, he fell asleep.
There you go. He became drowsy and he fell asleep. There it is. We said that Rip Van Winkle would be taking a nap, that he would be sleeping. Yes, this story is famous for this nap that he is now taking. Yes, he intends to just take a nap, but he's going to be asleep for quite a long time. Anyways, yes, he fell asleep, and when he awoke, there was no sign of the men. They left him there. How about that? Anyways, let's go ahead and take a short break, but when we come back, Rip will be awake and he'll learn just how long his nap actually was.
Rip headed back to his village, all the while dreading his wife's fury at his absence. When he got there, however, he was startled to find that he didn't recognize the buildings or any of their inhabitants. He rubbed his chin in confusion and realized that his beard had grown over a foot in length.
第二部分我们看到动词 startle 指使惊吓，使震惊。举例来说 The sudden stop startled the bus passengers. 公车突然停下来，吓坏了乘客。或是 My younger brother startled me when he tapped me on the shoulder. 我弟弟拍我肩膀时吓了我一跳。接着我们看到一个单字 inhabitant， 这个字是名词，指居民。例如 After the storm, many inhabitants of the small village found themselves without electricity. 暴风雨之后，这个小村庄的许多居民家中电力中断。
Okay, let's continue now with the second part of our lesson. He woke up after having fallen asleep, but when he woke up, or when he awoke, hey, where did the men go? There was no sign of them. Boy, they disappeared really fast. Well, Rip got up and he headed back to his village. He started walking back to his village. He wasn't really lost in the woods, so he knew his way back. And all the while when he was doing this, he was dreading his wife's fury at his absence. So here we've got all the while. That just means this happened at the same time. While he was walking back to his village, he was dreading his wife's fury. He was really scared that his wife would be really angry because he was gone.
Now, Roger, we're both married men here. Do you ever dread your wife's fury?
Sometimes. Yeah, but not always, though. It's kind of expected.
I have to admit that sometimes I do dread my wife's fury. Okay, now, what does this mean? It means I'm afraid of my wife when she is angry. So let's say I've done something wrong. Let's say I was going to be home at 5 p.m., but I get sidetracked and maybe I have to work until 6 or 7. If I have to come home late like that, I know that my wife is going to be mad at me, so I am worried. I'm scared about what she is going to say and what she's going to do as well. So yes, I am dreading my wife's fury. Does any of this sound familiar to you there, Roger? Do you dread your wife's fury?
I think most husbands do dread their wife's fury. Otherwise, we wouldn't be married, would we? We kind of live on that sort of thing. We enjoy that punishment. But in any case, he was dreading his wife's fury. He was really scared that his wife would be really angry because he was gone. And when he got there, when he got back to his village, however, he was startled to find that he didn't recognize the buildings or any of their inhabitants. Now, I know this happens sometimes when I leave Taipei for more than a month or so. I come back and I don't recognize the buildings because they're building new stuff so fast all the time. But this is a small village in upstate New York. It shouldn't really change that much in just a couple of days or a couple of weeks. So he was kind of startled. He was really scared. What? What the heck is happening here? I'm really startled. I'm really scared. He found that these buildings were different. He did not recognize them. What's that? Is that the post office? Is that the barber shop? What the heck is that? And also, he did not recognize any of their inhabitants. An inhabitant, of course, is a person who inhabits someplace or lives in some place.
There you go. Here, he was startled, slightly scared, slightly surprised by what he saw. Like, let's say someone jumps out from behind a wall and says, boo. That person might not scare you, but they might startle you. Yeah, my brother loved doing that. He loved to startle me constantly when I was a child. He loved to freak me out or to slightly scare me.
That can happen sometimes. So he rubbed his chin in confusion. Sometimes we do that. We take our thumb and our forefinger and our middle finger, our index finger, and we kind of rub our chin. What the heck is going on here? I don't quite understand. So he rubbed his chin in confusion, or in a state of confusion. Here, confusion is a noun. That just means you don't quite know what's going on. You are confused. That's the adjective, but this is in a state or condition of confusion.
There you go. He rubbed his chin in confusion and realized that his beard had grown over a foot in length. By the way, I can't really grow a beard. Roger here can. How long would it take for you to grow a beard that would be a foot long?
A foot long? That would take several months, if not several years. I can have a full beard in about a month, but a foot long? That would take a long time. So he probably thought something was weird, something was unusual.
Yeah, how long was this nap? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it could be. One time when I was in college, I tried to grow my hair long, but my goodness, at some point it just wouldn't grow any longer. So I can't imagine how long it would take to grow a beard that is a foot in length. That could take several years. My goodness, it's going to take me all morning to shave it off. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson. Let's finish our story and listen to the third part.
People began to gather around Rip, eyeing him with curiosity. He asked after his old friends, only to discover that they were long since dead. Growing alarmed, he demanded to know if anyone knew Rip Van Winkle. "Rip Van Winkle was my father," came the words from a young mother, "but he disappeared 20 years ago." After learning that his wife had passed away, he finally revealed his identity and told his peculiar story. His daughter took him in, and as an old man, he was finally free to while away his days as he pleased.
第三部分，我们看到一个名词 curiosity， 指好奇心。举例来说 ，Pandora's curiosity about the universe led her to become an astronomer. Pandora 对宇宙的好奇心引领她成为一位天文学家。另外，除了上面的意思，这个字还可以指罕见而新奇、珍奇之物，像是 The magician's home was filled with curiosities. 这个魔术师的家中充满了珍奇之物。最后，我们看到片语 while away 加名词，或是 while 加名词，再加 away 表示消磨、打发时间。例如 Amy likes to while away her weekends reading books in the park. Amy 喜欢在公园里看书消磨周末时光。或是 I can easily while a few hours away in a department store. 我在百货公司里很容易打发掉几个小时。
Rip Van Winkle has woken up and he knows that he has been asleep for a very long time. Maybe he hasn't pieced things together, but he has just rubbed his chin in confusion and he has found a beard there that is over a foot in length. Anyways, he's wandering around there back in his village, and soon people began to gather around Rip, eyeing him with curiosity. Yeah, who is that guy? What is going on here? All these people are curious. They want to know more about this Rip Van Winkle character. Who is this figure walking around the village? He looks confused. He looks like he doesn't know what is going on around him.
Yep, curiosity, the noun form of curious. There's a phrase, curiosity killed the cat. So be careful. Don't get too curious or you might get in trouble. But they were kind of looking at him. Hey, who is this guy with this long beard? We don't recognize him. We've never seen him before. And he asked after his old friends, only to discover that they were long since dead, or that they had died a long time ago. So he asked after his old friends. He asked about them. That's similar in meaning. Ask after just means, hey, what happened to my friends? He's asking about them. He's inquiring about them. Gee, what happened to my old friends, the friends I used to chat with in front of the inn?
Apparently, he discovers something strange. All of his old friends are dead. Oh my goodness. Now, growing alarmed, okay? He's getting worried and nervous now and scared too. Growing alarmed, he demanded to know if anyone knew Rip Van Winkle. Yeah, all my friends are dead and I don't know who any of you are. Hey, does anybody know who I am? Hey, who is this Rip Van Winkle character? Tell me all about him. So yes, he demanded this. When you demand something, you ask for an answer. You ask for something. You call for that thing. And you make it clear that you want an answer. You're not going to leave without the information that you are looking for, let's say. Now, Rip Van Winkle was my father, came the words from a young mother, but he disappeared 20 years ago. So there you have it. Rip Van Winkle's daughter was here, okay? He didn't know who she was, and she didn't know who he was, but she is there and she remembers her father. Yes, Rip Van Winkle, she says, was my father, but he disappeared 20 years ago. 20 years ago, Roger. That means he was asleep for 20 years.
That's right, and I guess she was a baby then, didn't remember him. And after learning that his wife had passed away, he finally revealed his identity and told his peculiar, strange, unusual story. So he found out that his wife had died, and then he told everybody who he was. He revealed his identity and told them the story. His daughter daughter took him in, and as an old man, he was finally free to while away his days as he pleased. So if you take someone in, that means you let them come and live with you, especially if they're lost or homeless or something like that. I suppose you could do this with a stray dog or a stray cat. You can take that cat in and let them live with you.
And yes, here it says he was free to while away his days as he pleased. That means he was able to pass his time and live out his life however he wanted to. There you have it. All right, folks, with that, our story is now in the books, and it's time to hear from the Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。 Rip Van Winkle 跟男子来到这个一座小山谷，那他看到几个奇怪的男人正在玩游戏。那我们今天的故事就接着提到说， Upon spotting Rip and his guide, the men stopped to have a drink from the keg. 男人们看到 Rip Van Winkle 跟带他来的人就停下来喝酒桶里面的酒。好，句子里面用到介系词 upon， 在这边表示一怎么样就怎么样。它的用法是 upon 加上名词或是动名词，那这个用法可以摆在主要子句的前面或是后面。Upon 也可以用 on 来做替换。那要特别注意的是，如果我们要用 upon 或是 on 加上动名词的话，这个动作的主词必须跟主要子句的主词一致。举例来说， Upon smelling the food, I got hungry. 一闻到食物的味道，我就肚子饿了。好，那虽然句子前半句说一闻到食物的味道，这没有主词，可是我们都知道它是要表达我一闻到食物味道，我就肚子饿了。那前后两个动作的主词是同一个人，不可能会是别人一闻到食物味，然后我就肚子饿嘛。好，那另外补充几个可以表达相同意思的句型，我们可以用 as soon as 加上主词加动词，逗号主词加动词。那么 as soon as 也可以换成 once, the moment, the minute, the instant 等等。例如 The moment she saw her parents, her face broke into a smile. 她一见到爸妈，脸上就突然露出笑容了。好，接着看到课文第二部分有一个单字是 confusion， 这表示混淆或是困惑。那我们来学习它的字首字根。 Confusion 它的动词是 confuse。 好，那么F-U-S-E fuse 当名词的时候，它可以指保险丝、导火线、引信等等。那它当字根的时候，则是有 pour 或者是 melt 的意思，也就是倾泻、倾倒或者是熔铸。好，那在 confuse 这个字当中呢，它的字首 C-O-N 表示一起，字根 F-U-S-E 表示倾泻、倾倒。同学们可以试着想象哦，所有东西都倒在一起，全部都混在一起，这样应该可以联想到 confuse 它有使什么混淆、难以理解的语义吧。好，那就顺便补充两个有相同字根的单字。第一个是 infuse, I-N-F-U-S-E。 好，它的字首 I-N 表示往内，那么 fuse 表示倾倒，往内倾倒，往里面灌东西。这样应该可以联想到 infuse 它具有注入、灌输的语义咯。那我们其实可以用 infuse 加上人或是事物，然后 with something 来表达使某人或某事物充满了什么，或者是将某事物注入到什么当中。好，那要补充的第二个是 diffuse, D-I-F-F-U-S-E。 diffuse 它的字首本来是 D-I-S，然后它摆在这个 F 前面，这时候呢 DIS 就变成了 DIF。 好，那么 DIS 这个字首它有 apart 分开，或者是 in every direction 每个方向的那种语义。那么字根 fuse 表示倾倒。好，当我们把东西倒出来，让它流到每一个方向，到处都是，这样应该可以联想到这个 diffuse 它有传播、散布、四散的语义吧。好，那么以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Resume. Let's take a break for lunch and resume our discussion afterward. Liquor. If a restaurant wants to serve alcohol, it must get a liquor license first. Dread. I dread checking my work email after I get back from vacation. Startle. The waiter accidentally dropped several forks on the floor, and the loud noise startled me. Confusion. The passengers looked around in confusion as the train stopped in the middle of a tunnel. Curiosity. Jeremy had never seen that flavor of candy before, so he bought it out of curiosity. Demand. The angry customer demanded to speak to the store's manager at once.
Discussion Starter starts now!
Here's our discussion starter for today. The question is, do you think falling asleep for 20 years was a blessing or a curse for Rip Van Winkle?
I think it was a blessing for him because in the end, he really got what he wanted. Remember, he was an idle guy who only wanted to be happy and to make others happy. But his wife wanted more from him, and he was just incapable of giving this to her. So maybe they were better off being separated for those 20 years, and when he finally came back and she was dead, he was probably a happy guy because he was finally able to be idle and to live in his own way.
Well, I think it was more of a curse because he probably didn't get to say goodbye to his parents when they died, and also because his young daughter was already a young mother. That means he missed seeing her growing up, and that, of course, is the funnest part of being a parent.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.